Okay, we are going to get started right on time this morning, 8 a.m. Mountain Time. So welcome everyone. I cannot believe this is part 8 of this series. So I think that means we are in week 7 of our new normal, and things are changing by the minute. But first and foremost, I hope everyone is doing well. It is a beautiful day in Denver. It is going to be in the 70s today. So warm weather and sunshine always help, and definitely makes us happier, allows us to get outside, all of those wonderful things. So what we are going to talk about today is, we've spent the last 7 parts of this really sort of focusing on that career management piece. What can you do when you're at home, if you're now working from home, if you work for yourself, if you are looking for work. A lot of this is around career management, career development, because that doesn't stop in the middle of a pandemic. We still have to pay attention to all of those things now more than ever, because there's novelty to a lot of this. We're doing a lot of this for the first time. And so it has really challenged us to be far more innovative and creative and adaptable and agile and, all of those things. And this next phase is exactly that. So wherever you are calling in from around the country, everything right now is in flux. Things are reopening, partially reopening, going to open next week. This county has reopened. This industry can reopen. We are now sort of in that next phase of reentry. And so knowing that this is sort of our last podcast of this series, probably not the last podcast ever, but the last podcast of this series, this is all about that reentry, that transition back to work, back to new normal. And I say it in this way because we actually don't know what is going to happen. But I feel like I would be remiss if we did not start at least kind of addressing sort of what this next chapter is going to look like, what you can do to get ready, what you should start thinking about, how to start thinking about it, all of those sorts of things. So we are going to dive in today and really start thinking about, again, the 4 things that you can start doing today to help ease the transition and to set yourself up for success for this new phase that we are about to enter. So let's get started. And of course, it's not working. Hold on one second. Hold the phone. Let's see if I can try again. Nope. Okay. Why is it not working? The last class, what? Let's not exactly sure. Okay. Success! There we go. Just keep trying. All right. I've been joking. I swear by the time we actually sort of all go back to work and Zoom is no longer sort of a popular thing, that is when I'm finally going to master it. So, because that's just the law of the universe. So we're going to start off the way that we always do, with gratitude, with wins, with some good news that's going on in your life, some good news that's going on in somebody else's life. And so I just want to open up the mics if anybody wants to share. Is there anything that you would like to share sort of in that realm of positivity with the group? Anybody?
I'll jump in.
Okay.
Number 8 is kind of a nice thank you, gratitude for this course, because it's the only thing I've done for 8 weeks, this entire lockdown, consistently, and stuck with it. And I kind of am still finding my land legs in other areas. So I was determined. I thought, come on, show up, do it. And thank you for doing it. It's been very helpful on so many levels for me. So I just wanted to say gratitude for that, and giving me some awesome tools. Each week I can find at least one nugget to apply and go forth, and definitely feel grateful. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that was actually going to be my share of the day. Is this has just been an amazing experience. And, you know, to be able to grow, to learn, to connect, to share information, to create a community. Obviously, a big reason why I've been a coach for a million years is, you know, out of a sense of, you know, wanting to be of service and of help. And especially during this time that, you know, even if there was one nugget in the last sort of 8 sessions, that's a win. And, you know, and being able to really sort of be a constant, you know, in people's lives and bring value has been enormously gratifying. So thank all of you. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. So let's dive in. All right. Number 1 is to be ready and informed. So again, this is all about that re-entry, you know, getting back into the groove. And again, we don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know what that experience is going to be like, but now is the time to start finding out. Meaning, you know, contact, if you're going back into an office space, find out sort of what that re-entry plan is. Reach out to the HR professionals within your organization and find out what the new rules are, what the options are. You know, can you still, there are a lot of companies right now that are going back to work, that are opening their doors. And so is it all hands on deck? Are there options to still work from home? Is a hybrid an opportunity or an option? I mean, that's also, I mean, look what all the universities are doing. They are thinking ahead and trying to sort of figure out kind of what that plan of action is going to be. And a lot of them are offering those hybrids. And the same is true in the workplaces. You know, figure out also too what the workplace policies are going to be. Meaning, do you have to have a face covering? What are the social distance rules? And also too, when it, you know, if you are traveling, you know, contact the airline. I mean, the news just showed this morning that, you know, there are airlines now that are requiring face coverings for all passengers. Right now, the best thing that you can do for this next phase of uncertainty, it feels like we just moved from one phase of uncertainty to another. But we are now moving into another phase of uncertainty as we all try to reintegrate into society and, you know, start socializing. But plan ahead in terms of what you need to know, what you need to bring, how informed that you need to be. This is also too about being ready and being informed. I know that this is going to sound silly, but a lot of people working from home, I don't know if you have found this to be true, but are on a completely different schedule. You know, oftentimes our sleep patterns are different. How many of you, I know that this is a joke, but it is not even a joke. How many of you, has it been a while since you actually put on a pair of pants that have a button and a zipper, right? We have been in sweatpants or some sort of pajama attire for about 7 weeks. And so this is also too about getting yourself ready to reintegrate, to socialize, to maybe now start seeing clients in person, right? So this is maybe about getting back on that work schedule and waking up at a particular time, going to bed at a particular time, really starting to kind of retrain your brain a little bit and to get ready for that reintegration. Also too, in terms of ready and informed, if you are working with clients, this is also too about informing yourself about what your clients need. right now? What is their reintegration plan? What is their reentry plan? When are they opening? What do they need? And positioning yourself to, provide that level of service. Thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead, because as all of these arrows indicate, we have no idea what direction it's going to go. We really don't. And so kind of having a plan A, B, C, and D is going to serve you well. Pay attention to the news. Maybe it is about reaching out or getting on a website in terms of what's going on locally within your county, your community, and what those new rules and guidelines are. The better informed you are, the better prepared you are going to be for this next phase. And because everything is happening so quickly, there's misinformation, there is confusion. And so a lot of this is going to sort of be on you in figuring out what that best course of action is going to be. So number 1 is be ready and be informed. Number 2 is to debrief. So we have all been living a little differently for the last 7 weeks or so. And this is also a time to kind of take stock and reflect on everything that you have learned during this time. What new patterns of behaviors, actions do you actually want to take with you to this new phase? And I will give you an example. So I have a client that has been leading remotely for the first time ever. So that was a whole transition. She had to learn how to lead her team remotely. It had been an in-person office for all of these years, and everything was brand new when they transitioned to working from home. And one of the things that she implemented to stay connected, to keep her people informed, to make sure that productivity was on track, to make sure everybody was okay, she implemented daily huddles with her remote team. Every single day at the same time, every morning, she and the 12 members of her team would hop on a Zoom call for 15, maybe 20 minutes. And it was a check-in, there was a question, they were sharing information, personal information about how everyone was doing. It created a level of connection and camaraderie and support that she never imagined, and was far better than the way that they were operating when they were all actually in the office live. And so her sort of reentry plan right now, as she is going through this debrief process, is she wants to figure out how to take that daily huddle and implement it back into the office when everybody is live and in person, because the benefits were immeasurable. Everybody loved it. It was also an opportunity for her, since it was happening on a daily basis, that every single person on the team would step up and have an opportunity to lead the meeting. Now, as a leader, we all know that one of the things that is sort of part of your job description is to set your team up for success, and to be an effective leader of a meeting is critical. So this was a fantastic opportunity for everyone to practice in a relatively low risk, safe environment. And she wants to keep that going. So what are the things that you want to stop doing, start doing, or continue doing as a result of this most recent stay-at-home effort? What has worked really well for you? What is something new that maybe you were forced to implement or forced to try, and you actually really like it? Another thing is that there are countless people out there. I promise you, if you are new to Zoom, you're not the only one. I actually, as a result of coaching clients around the country, started using Zoom the beginning of 2019. And so I worked out a little bit of the kinks. You wouldn't know that by my fumble this morning, but really starting to kind of get in the groove of Zoom. So there are a lot of people now that are using Zoom as part of this reentry and using technology to really help stay connected with clients, to conduct meetings face to face, if you will, and not just on the phone. So that's something that they are going to continue along the way. So this debrief, also too, because we don't want to feel like this time was wasted. We don't want to feel like this time was lost. This was a fantastic opportunity to learn, to grow, to expand in ways that we probably never imagined. Because remember, necessity is the mother of invention. So figuring out, taking a little time, putting pen to paper about, again, what do you want to stop doing? What do you want to start doing? And what do you want to continue doing as we transition to this next phase? You know, super, super important, this debrief right now. So this helps kind of with that reentry plan, because that's either happening with you this week or in the next couple of weeks. That's the direction that this is moving. So number 2 is to debrief. Number 3 is to plan, pivot, and prepare. So knowing that we are all going to either be going back to work, meaning a physical office, maybe our clients are re-entering the physical office again, or we are in transition looking for work, and we are figuring out what that new career opportunity is going to look like. Is our office environment still going to be the same, or is it time to make a change, a career change? What happened to our industry? You know, so really kind of figuring out what that plan is. Do you need to pivot? How do you need to prepare? This is also around goal setting. You know, your goals now may look entirely different than what the goals were 7 or 8 weeks ago. Are you making those adjustments? You know, if you're going back to the office, you know, maybe what does the new quarter look like? What do those new goals? Maybe it's revenue goals, maybe it's personnel goals. What do you need to change, to plan, to pivot, to adjust? How do you need to prepare for that? You know, and the same thing is that if you do work for yourself, and you know, what is going on sort of in your client landscape? Do you have to pivot to pursue, you know, maybe a new industry? Let's say, for instance, that, you know, the majority of your work, the majority of your clients were based in hospitality. We know that hospitality may not look the same for a while, even if their doors start to reopen, okay? So how are you going to pivot and to pursue a new industry to fill that client base? And if you are looking for work, really understand sort of what that industry landscape looks like during this new re-entry. There are going to be industries that are booming as a result of this when the doors start to reopen. You know, start thinking strategically, plan ahead. It's almost like you kind of have to crumple up the old business plan, crumple up the old, you know, list of goals and targets, and kind of start new. You know, really map it out in terms of what this is going to look like. You know, a big part of sort of what we are doing, we are looking towards the future. And even though that there is going to sort of be a re-entry, it may be a while that there are large group gatherings. So that impacts keynote presentations, live trainings. So we are pivoting and figuring out how to sort of integrate technology into all of this, but not just for over the last few weeks, but looking ahead for the duration, maybe through the end of the year, and adjusting accordingly. You know, it is out with the old plan, in with the new plan, and figuring out what all of that is going to look like. And this is also too where, I don't know about all of you, I am incredibly fortunate that I have business partners that where we are constantly strategizing daily. I have thought partners that I sit down and kind of brainstorm with. So if you are by yourself, as we have all been, sort of with this new re-entry, this new phase that we are about to enter, I encourage you to try not to do all of the thinking and the planning and the preparing and the pivoting on your own. This is really where you want to find a thought partner, a mastermind group. Reach out to your coworkers who are at home, to colleagues, to business partners, with clients. Really ask them sort of, what does this new phase look like for you? How can I best serve you? What are your plans for the future? You know, you don't have to do all the thinking on your own. The less guessing that you do, the better. So that plan, pivot, and prepare is going to be really helpful moving forward. And then number 4 is to communicate clearly and confidently. There is so much misinformation going on at the moment, and there's going to be a lot of confusion. And I don't know about all of you, but it feels like confusion and competing priorities and different stories. The headlines change every second depending on which news outlet you watch. Or if you watch the news in the morning compared to the evening, everything changes. Colorado is going to open up. No, it's not. Only these counties are going to open up. It's chaos when it comes to communication. But for your communication, it is really important that you reach out. If you are about to, or you are planning on going back to work, back into a physical space, or back to serving your clients face-to-face, or re-entering sort of that job search in a very kind of proactive way, the more that you can communicate clearly and confidently, the better it is going to be for you. So I strongly recommend, during this re-entry phase, reach out to your boss, to your manager, to your supervisor. Have a very clear and candid conversation about what the expectations are, about what the new rules are. Also, too, when it comes to communicating clearly and confidently, this is a prime opportunity to renegotiate. If you are not comfortable, let's say, for whatever reason, your office is about to open its doors, and for whatever reason, going back to work full-time at your desk doesn't suit you, doesn't work for you right now, this is when you really want to proactively reach out to your manager, to your supervisor, and renegotiate those terms. Would it be possible for me to continue to work from home? Or maybe some hybrid combination? What does that look like? There are a lot of organizations right now that they are going through some very difficult challenges in terms of figuring out whether it's layoffs, furloughs, those sorts of things. This level of communication is critical in this new phase. Do you know if you even have a job to go back to and what it is going to look like? What are the new benefits going to look like? How is all of this going to be structured? And similarly with clients, really communicating clearly about maybe you have an entire new suite of services that you are offering as a result of all of these changes. Are you clearly communicating that confidently communicating that to your clients? Do they know that you now offer keynote presentations virtually, virtual training, new solutions to their problems, new partnerships? Do they know that you are now sort of the answer to a lot of these issues that they have? You know, are you communicating that? And similarly, if you are in the job market, do potential hiring managers know the value that you bring? Are you communicating clearly and confidently on paper, meaning on the resume, online, your LinkedIn profile, you're interviewing? Are you clearly communicating confidently that you are a problem solver, the value that you bring, the problems that you are going to solve? And also too, when it comes to negotiating, because everything right now is a negotiation. Okay, this is not a one size fits all. There's wiggle room. And the more sort of equipped you are, the more armed you are with all the information that you have, with the resources that you have, and you can confidently communicate that, the more successful you will be sort of in this next round. Okay? So now I want to open it up to questions. If there are any questions that you have over from this session, from any of the previous sessions, we are entering a new level of transition, a new phase. I know it feels like we are transitioning and changing on a daily basis, but this one really is happening, and there is no roadmap. There is no manual for this next phase. So any questions, concerns, anything out there that I can answer for anyone? Okay. If not, then as always, I encourage you, if you do have questions or you end this call and something just pops into your head, feel free to email me, reach out, call, and I am happy to be a continued resource for you in all of these areas. So just to recap, part 8, when we talk about our transition plan, our reentry plan, going either back to work, back to servicing our clients or servicing new clients, or changing sort of that business model, or you're in transition and you are looking for new work, new career opportunities. 4 things that you can start thinking about and start doing today. 1, be ready and informed in all areas. Really seek out that information. Know what you need to be doing. Number 2, debrief. Take stock of the last 7 weeks or so and figure out again what you want to start doing, stop doing, and continue doing. New behaviors, new actions, new strategies that that maybe you have started kind of during this process out of necessity, but you found great value in them. You're like, fantastic, I want to continue those in this new phase. Okay, that helps you create your roadmap, your manual. Number 3, plan, pivot, and prepare. Figuring out where those adjustments need to be made. And because I know every day it feels like almost like a tidal wave, a blindside. There are new things that we are constantly adjusting to on a daily basis that are outside of our control. This is about figuring out what we can control and creating a plan around that. Being super creative. You know, being innovative, adaptable, which I know we are all getting so sick and tired of hearing, that we're feel like a chameleon every single day. We are changing, we are morphing, we are adjusting. And that is going to sort of be these next couple of phases. But the more that you can adjust in a way that works best for you, the better. And then number 4 is around communicating clearly and confidently with your boss, with your supervisor, with your organization about what this next phase looks like. Maybe it's around renegotiating your work schedule, okay, in a way that is conducive to you. And if it's around clients, being able to clearly communicate value, a new suite of services, new offerings that might appeal to them, that may solve a significant problem in this next phase of reopening. And if you are looking for new work, similarly, being able to really articulate your value during this time. So, because how you show up is everything. And so I'll say simple, but not easy things to think about and to start planning for this next phase. And throughout all of these weeks, I am, as we started off, I am filled with enormous gratitude and appreciation so much for all of you joining me on a weekly basis to kind of tackle some of these big issues, small things, but they have an enormous sort of weight because it's about your lives and where you are right now and where you want to be in the near future, in the distant future, and how you get there. And so whatever is going to happen with the whole podcast series, who knows, but I promise to keep you informed. If there is a specific subject, topic, issue that you want myself or Pam to address, feel free to ask us. Most likely we are going to be moving into sort of the on-demand or the kind of like pop-up podcast, you know, as issues come up, because as we have told you this entire time, all of these issues and topics and you know, that we are trying to tackle are happening in real time. This is what our clients are dealing with. And whether it's a coaching session or whether it's a training that we are doing. So everything is current and relevant. And so if there is something that is burning on the horizon, happening in the moment, we are going to be providing sort of these pop-up kind of on-demand podcasts. But if there's something that you want us specifically to address, let us know. We are happy to turn it into something that is informative and helpful. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your support, for your continued support. And so I know that this is not going to be the last time, so I'm not going to say goodbye. I'm just going to say, until I see you again sometime soon, I wish you nothing but the best in this phase, in the next phase, in every phase. And I look forward to seeing all of you soon. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.